Hi, I'm Cheryl and this is the journal entry for 29th of November 2019. And it's a little early, but I am feeling the need to share this while I am motivated to. So let's talk about my day so far and hopefully it will be of some benefit to you. So this morning started out like most other mornings. I woke up, checked some messages and some emails because like I'm sure many of us do, have friends around the world, and so was catching up with people in different time zones, which was great. Got up, did my exercises, left some messages for people, and went downstairs to make breakfast for myself and, feed the dog later. So I took my laptop downstairs, as I do, and I'm standing at the bar in the kitchen, catching up with things, checking Facebook, checking Instagram, because I'm on social media like everybody else. And I saw that a dear friend of mine was off to see a movie. And I was so happy for them. I really was, because this is someone who works really hard and gives back a lot and very, very rarely takes time for themselves. So I was really pleased that they were off doing that. And that was my first response. My second response was a little regret that I couldn't be there to do that as well, because I miss my friend, as you do. And then there was there was that, and then the next thing I knew, I was sliding down the cupboards in my kitchen, ugly crying and holding my chest and my rib cage so that I didn't explode. And that made no sense to me at all, none. And I'm there on the floor in my kitchen, just holding myself and ugly crying. And maybe you've done that yourself. Maybe you know what it feels like to be collapsed, an uncontrolled mess, and scaring your dog, who is trying desperately to figure out what's happening and offering their ball to make it better. But after a couple of moments, I got up, still crying, and it was ugly. There was nothing pretty about it. And took myself off to the bedroom, fell on my bed and kept going. I couldn't stop. I could not stop. And I could not understand why I had this disproportionate response to something that was so minor. And that I was initially happy about. It was really weird. And then my conscious caught up with what my subconscious already knew. And that was, the trigger was missing someone. And the reason it was such a trigger for me was because today is the 1 month anniversary of the death of my brother. And I hadn't even thought about that in my head yet. I was just going about my morning routine and I saw this, and it simply triggered me and I went into utter collapse. It was confronting, it was humbling, and it was not pretty. And I couldn't stop. I am really lucky. I texted my boss to say that I'm probably going to be in late because of this. And they were very understanding. But it happened and there was nothing I could do about it at that point. All I could do at that point was ride through the pain and the visceral response, because it was simply that thought of missing someone that was enough to open the door or the lid that I put on the deep well that is my grief and my devastation and my loss, that I have shut down very consciously, because I also need to not just bury and mourn my brother, but work through my own surgery process and cancer management and recovery process. And for those of you who are interested in the timeline, it's Tuesday, the 29th of November. The 29th of October. God, sorry. Tuesday, the 29th of October. And I go in for surgery on the 4th of November. So that is next Monday. So I'm preparing for that as well. And that's why I have been very consciously not giving into grief too much, because I know that in those first 2 weeks post-surgery, when there is very little else to do, there will be time to mourn, and I will be doing that. But clearly, my subconscious did not want to play today. And that's okay. You know, it is a part of the grief process. It is natural, it is normal. It's whether or not we stay there after the first experience of it. And so it is, I'm doing this so that you understand that sometimes we can't control our response, and that is also okay. But when you can, once you can identify what it is and acknowledge it and spend that time with it, then let it be and choose to move on. And that's what I was doing with my day, because this is early, this is breakfast time, and probably into early to mid-morning. And I decided to be productive. I chose very consciously to try and be productive through this, after I picked myself up from the space where I was uncontrollable. I took control back, and I went down and I very deliberately had a late breakfast so that I had nutrition in the day, and I very deliberately fed the dog, and then started to work with my web designer on aspects of the website and discussing the online course. I decided to try and be positive and productive within that space, and that worked. I moved through the morning a little more, and I wrote a challenging email that I'd been sitting on for a couple of days, and my feelings and emotions and thoughts within the context of the situation remained the same. So after that thought, I put that out. I wrote that email, I sent it out, and then I decided again to be productive. So I went to the post office to pick up a parcel, because I'd gotten a notice that there was something for me to pick up at the post office, and I knew that I had some online purchases coming in. So I went down and I did that, and when I got there, it wasn't actually a parcel, it was a registered letter, and it was the death certificate for my brother 1 month after the day he died. So that also has had its challenges. I didn't break. I opened the letter while I was in public because I wasn't sure what it was, and I did not break down. I chose to move through and to complete the shopping that I needed to do, the few groceries that I needed to get, and to come back and do this video to show you that sometimes shit happens and we can't control it to begin with, but then we can choose to influence and exert our own control. And then there are other times when shit happens and we can control it. And my choice this afternoon, because it's not even 2 o'clock today, my choice this afternoon, despite part of me wanting to curl up into that ball again and ugly cry and mourn and grieve and wallow, I am going to choose to take my dog down to the park and play and live life and celebrate. Because if there's one thing that I hope you take away from this, it's that grief is a process. Some of it we can impact, some of it we can't. But how we choose to get up and move forward every day, that's on us. That's our choice. And for those of you who know the 7 C's of conscious change, within the context of that model, I'm currently working at the check-in stage. I have a plan. I've implemented that plan and I'm working through it. I'm moving to get myself through the grief process, through the healing and surgery and cancer recovery process, knowing that shit happens and sometimes I have to pivot, sometimes I have to reconsider, sometimes I have to recalibrate, and sometimes I just have to sit with the shit and then stand up, step out of it and move forward. And I want you to know that that is possible. That shit ain't easy. Believe me, that shit ain't easy. But it's possible and you can choose to do it. And I hope that you do, for yourself and for the people who love you, because there is a life out there to live and you deserve it, and so do they. If this has helped you at all, please leave a comment below. If you need to reach out, I'm here. There are professionals that you can seek, but don't go through this alone, okay? This is tough shit, and this is stuff that we go through better together, okay? The 7 C's of conscious change help. People help too. So let people in. I hope this has been of benefit. Have a great day. And as far as me and the universe and the rest of this day, bring it on, because you've dumped a truckload on me today and I'm still standing. Take care. Bye now.